Ladies and gentlemen, Marjorie Taylor Greene introduced an amendment that AOC and progressives in Congress should have introduced. I thought that protecting the planet was the number one priority of this country and should be the number one priority of every American in the world. If that's the case, why did Biden release 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves? Why did that happen? Without even a word of dissent from Democrats like AOC. I thought that the preaching and the pontificating and the sermons and, oh my God, the environment and the planet and, oh, you need to do this and you need to sacrifice this way and you need to drive this type of vehicle. Oh, but it's okay to flood 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves. And if you tell this to the average person who just, says vote blue no matter who, they don't care. The cognitive dissonance is impenetrable. So they're impervious to hypocrisy or irony. But here, Marjorie Taylor Greene's amendment to bar Biden from selling oil suffers massive bipartisan defeat. Yeah, that's the problem. The amendment fails 14 to 418. But we shouldn't be selling strategic petroleum reserves at all. The strategic petroleum reserves don't exist for us to sell to adversaries. So God forbid if Taiwan is invaded, we will have sold to the invading country under Biden's administration. But again, the cognitive dissonance is impenetrable with some people. And hey, God bless you, left, right, center. I'm giving my viewpoint. It's a distinct viewpoint, but at the same time, you know what? I wish you only the best. Happy New Year. Happy joyful, safe, prosperous, healthy 2023 and beyond for everybody. Whether you're left, right, center, progressive, socialist, communist, supporter of President Trump like myself, never Trumper, libertarian, it doesn't matter. God bless you. That being said, I'm just going to give my vantage point, which is Marjorie Taylor Greene perfect? No. Has she said or done things that are bizarre? Sure. AOC had to be told on Twitter that her distortion of historical record was wrong. And you know who told her that? Yad Vashem. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can read my Jerusalem Post op-ed or just look up what I just described and explained. Okay, you have Democratic politicians in many cases, and Republicans used to do this 20 years ago, but it's now the tables have turned, and now it's the Democrats that are preaching and giving these sermons on morality, and they distort historical record all the time, or they make the most offensive statements. Biden with Charlemagne the God, and everything is within this Clintonian moral relativism where Trump is worse, when in reality he's not. When in reality Marjorie Taylor Greene right here did the right thing. It's a national security issue. We shouldn't be selling strategic petroleum reserves. Okay? We shouldn't be selling, if you're going to sell strategic petroleum reserves, then don't go after the oil and gas industry. This is where the madness comes from. Biden comes in, he has executive orders, goes after the oil and gas industry. Oil and gas associations sue him. 14 states sue him. Then his policies cause inflation to go up because fossil fuels go up because he went after them. Then with his executive orders and with other laws and an emphasis on making it difficult for them to drill. Then the rebuttal is, that's not even true because you know what? And it's always a rebuttal that is easily refuted by oil industry experts. Notice how the oil industry experts never get love, but experts of other industries get so much love. But anyway. So within the lawsuits that they leveled against Biden's administration, they said the inflation's going to go up, prices are going to go up because 95% of the global, and well, actually more than that, but 95% of the U.S. economy runs on oil and gas. Okay? We are years, decades away from changing that. And What they don't tell you is that Biden flooded the country full of 200 million barrels, lowered the price at the pump artificially, and is selling that to boost GDP, in addition to arms sales to Europe. So you have smoke and mirrors everywhere. But when Marjorie Taylor Greene was 100% right, what she did was very good. The fact that it didn't work out, that's unfortunate. Okay, because you don't want the strategic petroleum reserves, which, by the way, are at its lowest point since 1984, which is true. Okay, fact check. PolitiFact's ruling true. Lowest point in 19. And by the way, when all of that, when you have that stimulus and $10 trillion in fiscal and monetary stimulus, when inflation persists continuously for the next couple of years, which unfortunately it will, and people start racking up even more credit card debt, we're at a record. We've hit a record in terms of credit card debt in this country. Debt is continually piling up. What do you think is going to happen? There'll be a greater demand for fossil fuels. It won't lessen the demand. But anyway, hit subscribe to this channel every day at 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. I have a very important segment on the Veritas video at 8 a.m. And I usually kind of shy away from certain topics, but I explain why the mainstream should be very interested and should give this man O'Keefe a lot of respect for what he's doing in my last video at 8 a.m. But 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. every day. H.A. Goodman's other channel, subscribe there. Become a Patreon, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy my work. To my super thanks, thank you so very, very much. And I should have a live stream today. Later this evening, I should have a live stream. I always say that nowadays, but I mean, February, I'll be doing live streams all the time. But I will definitely have a live stream tonight. You will see the link below this video in a couple of hours. You'll see that link. And so please be here for the live stream. We have amazing live streams. It's a lot of fun. And it's just a lot of fun. So anyway, definitely be here for the live stream. But what Marjorie Taylor Greene was very good. It's interesting too, because you have these people that on the left, they pontificate and they preach and they give these sermons. But see, again, the cognitive dissonance, it's impenetrable, and they cannot see the hypocrisy or the irony. They cannot see that Al Gore yelling about our reliance on oil and gas, and then Biden flooding $200 million of strategic petroleum reserves and selling it to global geopolitical adversaries. And then they say, oh, the GDP is doing better than expected. Well, we had a recession. You think maybe arms sales and oil exports had something to do with GDP going up? Of course it did. And by the way, if you didn't, what would happen if you didn't? Here's a question that proves that Marjorie Taylor Greene and this amendment was actually the right thing to do. How much would oil and gas cost if you didn't sell 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves? Where would the GDP be then? Where would inflation be? Because this is, it's the economy's like an ecosystem. So a whole bunch of things would change if you didn't flood 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a Trump Republican. This is what a Trump Republican does. And this is why it's a moral imperative to vote for a Trump Republican. Is it always successful? No. But they don't go by a very failed and corrupt system. They want to reform a system that has failed. The system is failing right now. And so you might say, well, the difference, by the way, and this is why when you have never Trumpers, whether state parties in Georgia, Arizona, oh, well, you know what, a less extreme candidate would have won. the average or never Trump Republican doesn't do the things that they say they're going to do. Marjorie Taylor Greene does. Trump does. Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz, they do believe in the value system. Whether they say certain things that are, out of bounds, Democrats say the same types of things. And so if you want to talk about rhetoric, you could draw a T-chart, and you'll find that Democrats are actually even more offensive with their words. But they don't believe. See, Medicare for All, they didn't vote for Medicare for All in the House. They had the House. I mean, it's the biggest racket and grift on the left. It's unbelievable. Here, she's going saying, hey, no, don't sell strategic petroleum reserves. Here's an amendment. And it didn't work out, but you know what? It was the right thing to do for a lot of reasons. It actually would have helped the planet. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Thank you so very, very much. Be here for the live stream tonight. We always have amazing live streams. Thank you.